I am back. Good afternoon out there, peoples, comrades, all those good things, and then even some of them bad things too. Figured that I would do a recording while I'm out and about, get in touch with those spiritual warriors out there. Say a few things to possibly help those that are still inside a spiritual war with heavily narcissistic, or let's just say people that have disorders that are designed to destroy another being, another person. So today, what I wanted to cover is the smear campaign and the knowledge that I know about it that, I want to share with others. See, a lot of people talk about the smear campaign. I've heard it multiple times and stuff. I've experienced the smear campaign, and I wanted to give my insight on that and possibly help some people out there that are experiencing this smear campaign and wondering why the smear campaign is so devastating. Even it boggled me, and I'm going to help people out there today by putting that knowledge out there. Now, see, everyone knows that the smear campaign is designed to actually, make you basically look like the villain or the problem inside this equation. What most people are not saying when it comes to the smear campaign, I've watched multiple videos and they haven't said it, and I'm going to tell this from my own personal experience. Maybe one day I'll tell the story, but the way that I experienced the smear campaign is that basically I hung around this person often. Basically daily basis. And the way they started the smear campaign was quite clever. It's taken me like years after the fact of what they did to understand what they did. And like I said, most people don't know the smear campaign starts early. Really, really early. Long before they actually turn on you. Everyone thinks that it starts at that time, but they started the smear campaign much earlier, and I'm going to explain how that happens. Now, see, what they do, it's a real clever and sadistic thing that they do to actually start the smear campaign. What they do is they start disrespecting you, and they do it at first in privacy, and then when they think they can get away with it in a circle of people, they start being mean to you in front of these people, making jokes at your expense, trying to make these actual people laugh. Basically they're building themselves up, tearing you down in front of other people. Now, anyone that cares about you would actually respond and want to defend you. But if people don't care about you, they're not going to do that. What's likely to happen when this happens is that people are going to start telling you that they're just joking, you're being too sensitive, and etc. This is when the smear campaign starts. And like I said, this starts early inside a lot of relationships, to where they start doing this in front of people, and they're not just training you, they're also training the audience to respond to you negatively every time that you try to stand up for yourself and defend yourself from their attacks. So, the smear campaign has started then. Everyone started thinking of you as too sensitive, and you take it too seriously. You're letting their words affect you and stuff. But you'll also notice that you're the primary target. They don't do this to other people. This is a big sign that you are the target and that they're trying to turn everybody against you. You don't know what's going on when it's happening, but that's what's happening. So by the time that you get fed up with them and you're ready to walk away, everyone's going to see you as the jerk, even though a lot of them were audience members that watch them treat you like trash. You'll become the enemy. Those people will side with them. Like I said, they were already being prepped for turning on you long before it happened. It'll probably be a couple years. Some of you, as I'm saying this, are going to come to a realization that this is what happened to you. You was hanging out with someone you thought was your friend or a family member, and they started treating you like trash. But it started inside the company of just you and them, and you were trying to be understanding, and then when you started getting fed up, like I said, it becomes a public display, and then, they start turning these people against you, and these people start seeing you in a negative light. Now, Like I said, if these people genuinely cared about you, this would not occur. They would notice that this is hurting you. But the people that are usually laughing and stuff, like I said, these are the future people that are going to be flying monkeys too, because of the fact that they were enjoying your pain and suffering just like that heavily narcissistic person, or how I like to phrase them as being the dark triad brats. Like I said, basically they will put you through this ringer. And the smears campaign has already been constructed over time. It's not that the narcissists or narcissistic people or people that have these disorders or geniuses. They're not. What they've done is they started attacking you early on, and they made everybody comfortable with it. They created a comfort zone where your pain and suffering to everybody else is just background noise. To where they don't care. And yeah. It's really messed up and insidious, but this is what they do. This is how they end up wearing you down through the smear campaign. And then these people come after you. You're the villain. You're the one that's causing waves in the water. It's not the abuse that you faced that made you finally want to walk away. Oh, no. That's not it, Everyone would rather watch you burn down just so that they can stay warm at the campfire. So you have to be careful when you're dealing with these people. It should be obvious the answer that I'm going to go with here. A lot of the answers are usually the same, is that you need to walk away. I mean, I know that it's incredibly hard, especially if these people are your friend group or your family. With family, just start making distance. If you can't get away from them, start spending less time with them and shit. They're going to figure out that you're kind of on to them, but it doesn't matter. This is about self-preservation. Forget what they think and forget what they have going on. Because if these people cared, they would come to you with actual open arms, empathy, trying to understand your situation instead of trying to force you into a box that you don't even fit into. Let alone, these people is a giant red flag that they're not concerned of all the pain and suffering that you're going through while then, even when the smear campaign is going on. Because when the smear campaign is fully active, usually your life is going to be falling apart when the smear campaign fully activates, because that heavily narcissistic person is already planned on attacking you. Like I said, a lot of what they do is they've been attacking you the moment that they started devaluing you. The criticisms are attacks. The slights that they say, to make you feel uncomfortable, attacks. Like I said, treating you like trash is an attack. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you've been under attack the whole time. This is another reason that I say that, these people that have disorders to tear other people's down, they're waging spiritual war. They're attacking the mind, the body, the soul. You've got to do your best to build a defense, and sometimes the best defense is cutting off a lot of proximity to these people, including the people that they were laughing and they were enjoying themselves at your actual expense. They're out. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, these people were probably feeding into the pattern, as in it wasn't just happening one time. It was happening multiple times, and they kept deciding with that dark triad brat, like I said, it feels like, that's the proper side because of the fact that your pain and suffering doesn't feel like the right side to be on. I mean, real facts, pain and suffering to people that, that don't care about you, it just looks like desperation. It looks like you're desperate to be treated well, desperate to, make this stuff stop. You're too sensitive. You're taking this too harshly. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. For those out there that are experiencing stuff like that, my heart goes out to you. Get as much distance as possible if you can't get them out your life. Cut as much communication as possible. Like I said, I would say to play along with them, but don't do that. Playing along with them will end up hurting you in the long run way more than it hurts them, because, part of what has got them to actually do so much damage to you is that playing along, trying to forgive, trying to, let things go, trying, to swallow it, try to shrink down so that you wouldn't be, the main target of these attacks. But none of those things helped, did they? You were still targeted. Like I said, the plot was at some point, once they started devaluing you, they actually came up with a secret plot to destroy you. The plot to destroy you was actually probably there from when they entered the gate. It just ended up being solidified once they started actually running the smear campaign. And when you decide that you've had enough, that is when things are going to jump into high gear. That's when they're going to start launching some of their most vicious attacks. That's when the smear campaign will jump to full throttle. So, yes, I wanted to cover that and help people out there, hopefully, with that, and help with navigation. Like I said, the best thing to do is, like I said, gain some distance, reduce the amount that you talk to them, because these people use these chances to try to attack your self-esteem. They try to, make you doubt yourself, make you feel bad. Like I said, you will notice that when you're around people like this, they train you to feel bad. Like I said, seriously, this is how you know when you're standing around them after so long, is that the moment that you get in their presence, you feel awful. Sometimes you get physically almost sick. Your stomach is turning. You almost feel like puking. You're nauseated and you can't explain it. You felt great 5 minutes before they walked in the room. And that's all that negative energy that they have towards you. Their plots to try to destroy you. It's hard to exist in an environment where someone is planning your downfall. So, I will leave it there for now. I think I have said enough. Oh, I thought the dog was barking at me. But yeah, I said enough for now. Hopefully that will help some people out there that are deep in the struggle, man. That are fighting, trying to protect themselves from, people that are toxic, that think the problem is that people being too nice is the problem, not that people are predators and they're looking for people that are too nice. So I will get back in a little bit. In the meantime, I'll be checking out, but till then, a little more knowledge. They're not teaching you in college.